Welcome back. I'm Rahanna, and we're playing more of Gakuen Heaven 2. We are on Kuya's route, and we have just witnessed quite the betrayal from Ninosuke, who accused Yuki of stealing the armband, and has even gone so far as to tell Kuya that they are not friends anymore. So the two go off to find Ninosuke after he jumps off the roof with a parachute, and Kuya is ready to just jump right after him with absolutely nothing. It's a good thing Yuki was there to stop him from doing something very stupid. And now we have the two boys back on the roof, and we'll see how that worked out for them.
見つからなかった。
We didn't find him, as expected. I mean, he is a ninja, so...
ああ。
Yeah.
これだけ探したのに手がかり一つないと。
Even though we looked so much, there wasn't a single clue.
みんながいたのと反対側に飛んだから、服部さんが降りたところを誰も見てなかったのが痛かったな。
That's such a pain, since he jumped from the opposite side of where everyone else was. No one saw where Hattori landed. So he jumped off the roof in the direction away from where he made the announcement, so nobody was able to see exactly where he went.
そうだな。
That's right.
疲れたな。
That was tiring. And you can just tell from the lack of enthusiasm in Kuya's voice, he's just completely deflated at this point. He's just very different from his usual happy, bubbly self. He really is very similar to Yuki in the expression of his emotions. Very clear that when something goes wrong, you can tell very easily, just like you can with Yuki.
せっかく2回戦も突破できて嬉しかったのに。
Even though we were so happy at getting through the second round.
あ。
Just frustration.
俺は腕章を盗んでなんかない。
I didn't steal the armband.
わかってる。
I know that.
信じてくれるんだ。
You believe me?
もちろんだ。
Of course.
君はそんなことをしない。
You wouldn't do that.
絶対にしない。
You absolutely wouldn't. So, I mean, even though he's known Ninosuke for longer, Kuya is going to believe Yuki because they've spent so much time together. Not necessarily in the sense of length of time, but in the amount of time that they've spent together of Yuki being at the school. Kuya's spent the most time with him. And seems to understand him. Plus, I think because they are so similar, he understands Yuki pretty easily. He gets a feeling from him. So of course he believes him.
Kuya さん、ありがとう。
Thank you.
当たり前だろ。
It's only natural.
でもどうしてなんだろうな。
But I wonder why.
俺に腕章を託すって、この学園を守ってくれってそう言ったのに。
Even though he said to me, I entrust the armband to you. Please protect the school.
今になって急にさ。
And now suddenly...
勇気。
なんかすごく残念だ。
It's kind of a real
本
shame.
当だな。
It really is. And this is just so out of character for the two of them. This is a really sad scene. I think they did a very good job of expressing everyone's emotions without necessarily having them say so much, but through the pauses and the reluctant way of speaking and a lot of just kind of really nothing, just how subdued they are, really gets it across.
なんでだろう。
I wonder why.
なんで俺こんなにがっかりしてるんだろう。
Why am I so disappointed?
嘘ついてるのは向こうなんだから関係ないってそう思えばいいのに。
He's the one who lied, so I should think it doesn't matter, but
辛い。
it hurts.
それはきっと勇気が二之助に腕章を。
That's because I'm sure you fully accepted it.
この学園を託されたことをきちんと受け止めていたからだと思う。
The armband from Ninosuke and that you were entrusted with the school.
受け止めてた。
Accepted.
きちんと受け止めていたからこそ君は入学したばかりなのに生徒会の仕事をすごく頑張った。
It's because you fully accepted it that even though you just started school, you worked so hard at your student council duties.
今だってここが廃校になるのを阻止しようとベルワンに必死になって挑んでいる。
Even now, trying to prevent the school from being closed, you're desperately taking on the challenge of the Bell One.
二人分の重みで。
It's 2 people's worth.
だって
But
あんな風に誰かに あんなに必死に何かを頼まれたのって初めてだったんだ。
But like that, it's the first time someone has asked me to do something so desperately.
驚いてちょっと引いたけど、でもそれだけじゃなくてなんか嬉しかった。
I was surprised and a bit intimidated, but that wasn't all. I was also kind of happy.
嬉しかったんだ。
I was happy.
それなのに盗んだなんて。
And yet having it stolen,
悔しい。
it was disappointing.
さっきは一方的に言われて腹が立ったけど、
Him just saying his side of it pissed me off.
でも今はがっかりの方が強いです。
But right now my disappointment is stronger. And I'm sure anyone who's ever had the unpleasant experience of people talking shit about you behind your back or in front of other people have experienced this. Even though the other person is lying, you know they're just saying something, it still hurts, because why would someone do something like that? Especially someone like Ninosuke, who did give Yuki the armband, asked him to do something, and now all of a sudden is completely turning it around and lying. And we don't know at this point what the other students think. We know what Kuya thinks. We know that Kuya believes Yuki, but what's the reaction from the rest of the school at this point? We don't know.
そうか。
Yeah.
あの人が俺の腕章を盗んだのかな。
それはない。
I wonder if he stole my armband. And Kuya says that's not possible.
そうかな。
Really?
ああ。二之助はそんなことをするやつじゃない。
Ninosuke is not the kind of guy who would do something like that.
他人のものを盗んだらどうなるか、あいつはちゃんと知っている。
He fully understands what happens when you steal other people's things.
そんな過ちはしない。
He wouldn't make a mistake like that.
しないはずなんだ。
He wouldn't. So interesting reaction from Kuya here. Keep that in mind as we go through the rest of the story. What he had just said here about stealing things.
クーヤさん。
なぜこんなことになったんだ。
How did it come to this?
今はこの学園がなくなるかどうかの瀬戸際だ。生徒は皆団結するべきであって、決して分裂しているような場合じゃない。
Right now, we're at the critical moment that will decide whether the school closes or not, so the students should all be united. It's not the time to be divided.
なのに二之助はどうして。
So why did Ninosuke?
今頑張っているのは勇気であって君じゃない。
The one who's working hard now is Yuki, not you.
何にも言わずに逃げたのは君じゃないか。
You were the one who ran off without saying anything. So that's another thing showing Ninosuke's selfishness. I mean, he did just zoom off without telling his friends why. He disappeared, and there was no reason for it. There was no explanation for it. And they've been worried. But according to Ninosuke, they're not worried enough, so he's not coming back. Very annoying.
なのに
Why?
クーヤさん。
Poor Kuya. He's really depressed. I've never seen Kuya-san like this. Why? Why did he lie and say that I stole it? And why now? Why did he do that to me? Me? Could it be...
一つ聞いてもいいかな。
Can I ask you something?
なんだい。
What is it?
服部さんってなんで帰ってこなかったんだと思う。
Why do you think Hattori-san didn't come back?
いなくなってもう1ヶ月以上だろ。
He's already been gone for more than a month, hasn't he? So it's a long time. They said since, I think it was since Golden Week, and now it's more than a month since then. So maybe 5-6 weeks he's been quote-unquote missing, even though he is still on the school island somewhere.
なぜ急にそんなことを。
Why are you asking that all of a sudden?
俺思うんだけど、服部さんはもっと早くに戻ってきたかったんじゃないかな。
I was thinking that maybe Hattori-san wanted to come back earlier.
だけど戻れなくなったんだ。俺がいるから。
But he didn't come back because I was there.
何を言ってるんだ。
What are you saying?
服部さんが戻ってきたいのは生徒会だ。
What Hattori-san wanted to come back to was the student council.
生徒会にエースとして戻ってきたいんだ。
He wanted to come back to the student council as the ace.
でも生徒会長は2人もいらない。俺がいる限り服部さんは戻れない。
But you don't need two student council presidents. As long as I'm there, he won't come back. So very perceptive of Yuki to pick up on this, because I think this is completely correct, that Ninosuke was really just looking for attention in some way, wanting his friends to react to his disappearance and bring him back. But since there's a new student council president, there's no need for him to come back. Things are continuing smoothly at the school, or as smoothly as they can, with it being threatened by the board. So what reason is there for him to come back? And yet again, this is kind of childish and selfish, but he's also a kid, and he has kid-type issues. I mean, this is high school. Remember that these are high school boys, and they are reacting in high school boy-type ways. So even though Ninosuke actually gave Yuki the armband, setting him up to be the student council president, his real feelings are not in line with what he is doing. And that happens sometimes. People behave in strange ways, and I think that's what's going on here too.
違う。
That's wrong.
何が違うんだよ。
What's wrong?
服部さんが戻ってこない理由。クーヤさんだって本当は気がついてたんじゃないのか。
Did you really not realize the reason why Hattori wouldn't come back?
それは君の推測にしか過ぎない。
That's nothing more than your guess.
じゃあなんで最近服部さんのこと探してないんだよ。
Then why haven't you been looking for him recently?
それはベルワンでそれどころじゃなかったからであって。
That's because there was a bigger problem with the Bell One.
いいよ。
It's okay.
いい。俺に気を使わなくて。
You don't have to worry about me.
ユキ。
服部さんはエースに戻りたくなった。
Hattori-san wanted to be the ace again.
だから俺に腕章を渡したことを後悔してる。
And so he regretted giving me the armband.
俺を邪魔だと思ってる。
He thinks I'm in the way.
だからあんなことあったら俺は。
And that's why he said that. So in that case, So we have a choice here. We can say, I'll quit being the student council president, or I'll fight him. I'm going to stop here because the scene goes on for a bit longer. Decision point is a great place to stop, but I really like this scene because you get the feeling of how emotionally intelligent Yuki is. He really is. He's almost like a mind reader. He's like an emotional ninja in the way that he can understand people's motivations and their feelings, even though they try to hide them. And now I say that contrasted with how he obviously does not understand how Kuya feels about him. So there are some things that he can pick up on. I think the friendship type connections between people he's very good at, but when it comes to the kind of romantic things where he doesn't have any experience at all, he can't pick up on that. So it's interesting to see how he can be so super smart about some things, but just completely clueless about others. But I like that he never really gets nasty toward anybody, even people who you would think deserve it, like Ninosuke. I mean, yes, he's angry, he said he was pissed off, but he doesn't wish anything bad to happen to him. He still wants to understand what's going on, he wants things to work out, he wants friendships to continue the way that they are, and I think that's what makes him a very good character, someone that I enjoy playing the game, going through and seeing his thoughts and kind of looking at things through his perspective, rather than someone who would be less understanding and maybe less naive. So I'll stop here and we'll continue next time after making this choice. Thank you for watching.